Alright guys, so we're back. Just finished the reading activity for day 1. It's March 16th for week 1. So now what we're going to look at is the math as well. So we're going to practice equivalent fractions. This is review. We worked on something, we worked on this for a few weeks. So once we do a couple practice ones together, maybe it should jog your memory. So you have this paper in your packet for week 1. This is what you're going to be doing. It's only 10 problems. I'm going to do a couple practice ones with you on some of my scratch paper in my notebook here, and then you can go ahead and work on these 10 problems. After we do some practice ones, if you're not sure what to do next, or if you're just confused, tell your mom or dad to message me, or you message me on Dojo or email, and I can either call you and we can talk about it, or I can try to do a Skype session or something where I can help you. Also, there's tons and tons and tons of online resources and different videos if you want to look for some of those as well, or I can try to find something like that to send to you as well. So remember, when we're doing equivalent fractions, the word equivalent means equal. So we're going to have to find fractions that are equal. They're equivalent. So this is your practice page. I'm not going to work on these specific ones with you, but I've got our Common Core Sheets page open over here, and this is what we're going to work on. So if you have scratch paper, you can write this down with me and practice it, or you can just watch and follow along and see if it jogs your memory. So you're going to have problems that look like this, or they have the numerator or the denominator missing, and we're going to have to figure out what would we put there to make these two fractions equivalent, okay? And to do that, all we're going to have to do is think about your multiplication. What could we multiply by 2 to get 4 here? And whatever we do the exact same thing on the top here to get our missing number. And if it were switched, if we had the numerator instead of the denominator, we would do the exact same thing. So 2 times what would give us 4? Well, if you think about your math facts, 2 times 2 would give you 4, right? So then whatever I multiply by on the bottom, I have to do the same thing on the top. 1 times 2, well, anything times 1 is going to be that number itself, so 1 times 2 is 2. So the answer here should be 2/4. And I'm going to go over here and put in my answer, and we'll see if it's correct. And it is. It is right. All right, so good. We'll submit that, and we'll do a couple more together, okay? So this one here, we have 1/2 equals something over 20. So we're going to do the same exact strategy. Whatever we multiply by on the bottom, we have to multiply by on the top. So 2 times what would give us 20? Well, I know my math facts, and so do you. So we know that 2 times 10 would equal 20. And then we do the same thing on the top. 1 times 10, again, just like over here, anything times 1 is going to be itself. So that should be 10. 10 over 20. So let's put the answer in. And we'll see if we're right. Yep, and we're correct here. All right. All right, now here's one. I'm glad it gave us this one, where it has the denominator missing, but we're going to do it the same way. 8 over 9 is equal to 32 over something we're not sure. So, now, I know some of you have some trouble with your 8's multiplication facts. If you're unsure, remember, we can always start at somewhere that we know. We usually know our 5's. We usually know our 1's and our 10's, right? So let's start here. We need to figure out what's 8 times something will give us 32. So 8 times 1, that's 8. I know it's got to be bigger than 1 because that's too small. 8 times 5, well, that's 40. Okay. It can't be larger than 32, so it can't be 5. It's got to be something smaller than 5. So we could try 8 times 4. Okay, you could do this all kinds of ways. You could count backwards, or you can solve it however is easiest for you. We've taught you lots of different strategies, but 8 times 4 is 32. So this would be the number I would multiply by. 8 times 4 equals 32, and I would need to do the same thing on the bottom. 9 times 4. 9 times 4, that would be 36. So let's put it in here and check and see if we're right. And we are. Perfect. We're correct there. So, remember, if you're getting stuck on one of your multiplication facts, if you're unsure, start somewhere you know, and either work backwards or work up or work down to find it. We would know this would be too much. I could stop at 5, 8 times 5, because that was 40, and I had to get 32. So there's no point in me doing 8 times 10. It's too much. All right, let's try this next problem here. 2 over 6. All right. Now, same exact strategy. Whatever I multiply by on the top, I have to do on the bottom, or whatever I multiply on the bottom, I have to do it by the same number on the top. 2 times something will give me 14. Think about it. It's got to be 7. All right, so if I multiply by 7 on the top, I've got to do the same thing on the bottom. 6 times 7 should be 42. Let's check it. And that's correct. Perfect. All right, so we just did 4 problems together, and let's look at what you're going to have to do on your practice page that Miss Cannon gave you. On 1 through 5 here, you're doing the same exact thing. It's giving you a missing number, either the numerator or denominator is missing, so you're going to have to figure out what can I multiply on this end. What can I multiply to get this number? And then you have to do the exact same thing on the top. These are exactly what we just did together, okay? Over here, it looks a little different, but you're still using a very similar strategy, okay? It says write the fractions that are equivalent to 4/8. Well, if you wrote out 4/8 over here, you could multiply it by any number and see what you get that would be equivalent, okay? You could do 4 times 2 and get an answer there, and then do 8 times 2 on the bottom here. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to write out any fractions that are equivalent to 4/8. And then 9 and 10 down here, you're going to use the figure below to create 2 different models equivalent to 4/8. Okay, so here's where you would draw, maybe you want to draw out, sorry, not 4/8, 1/4. Maybe you should draw another model here and color in 1/4 of it. And then you're going to create 2 other models that would be equivalent to that. So if I drew out a rectangle here, and I drew out, there's 4, and I'm going to color in 1/4 of it. Remember, whatever you do over here, whatever you color in, I colored in 1 of my 4 pieces. However you draw your model here, the same parts need to be colored in. So if I picked this up and I put it on top here, the same amount of pieces should be colored in. Even if you have it separated into more pieces, more than 4, that's fine. But you need to make sure that if you could pick this up and you could lay it on top here, the same amount of parts would be colored in. Okay? Other than that, that's all of your math for today. It's pretty simple. We practiced this a lot a few weeks ago, so I just wanted to give you a little reminder lesson on what you need to do. If you need to have more practice problems, I can send you this Common Core math practice. I can link it to your parents, and you can practice more with equivalent fractions. That's up to you, but it's pretty simple. You only have 10 problems to do today, so make sure you're showing your work as best you can. If you're multiplying by over here, show us what you're multiplying by. 2 times what would give you 6. Make sure you're writing that down here. Even if you can do it in your head, we still want to be able to see, you know, what you're multiplying by. That way, if you make a mistake, we'll know where you messed up on, okay? Again, if you have any questions, if you're not sure, message me on Dojo or email me. Ask your parents to give you access to Class Dojo, and then you guys can message me and Miss Cannon on your own if you need to. We're here to help you as much as we can, so just let us know if you need any help or any extra resources, and we will get that for you, okay? Good luck.